The email was only 3 lines. Check your bank account. Check the news. Then check the package I left at your door. That's when I knew my ex-boss had no idea what she'd unleashed. 3 months earlier, she'd destroyed my career with fabricated evidence. Now she was about to learn why you should never corner someone who knows where all the bodies are buried, especially when some of those bodies are worth millions in stolen cryptocurrency. I'm Tom Miller, and this is the story of how I went from software architect to something much darker. I was 34, divorced, and putting every penny into child support for a daughter I saw twice a month. The job at Paragon wasn't just income, it was my lifeline to staying in Emma's life. When my boss took that away, she didn't just cost me a paycheck. She cost me everything that mattered. Every morning at 6:15 a.m., I'd make instant coffee in the break room microwave. The 3-minute wait gave me time to check my other phone, the one my employer didn't know about. For 3 years, I'd worked at Paragon Tech in downtown Raleigh. We were a venture-funded startup hemorrhaging money while promising investors we were pre-revenue by choice. I was the back-end architect, invisible by design, while sales made impossible promises and marketing invented metrics. I built the systems that actually worked. But I also built something else, a side business moving money through cryptocurrency exchanges. Gray market arbitrage, exploiting price differences between platforms. The ethics were questionable. But when you're paying $3,000 monthly in child support and your ex-wife's lawyer keeps finding new expenses, you stop caring about ethics. Rebecca Morrison was our chief revenue officer. 5'8", designer suits, and the ability to make you feel worthless with a raised eyebrow. But what made Rebecca dangerous wasn't her ambition. It was her paranoia. She kept files on everyone. I'd seen her notebook during meetings, detailed observations about employees' weaknesses, financial situations, personal problems. She knew about my custody battle before I'd told anyone. Rebecca had perfected the art of public degradation. During our Monday all-hands meetings, she'd single out her targets with surgical precision. "Tom, why don't you explain to everyone why your code is consistently substandard?" she'd say, knowing I had the best performance metrics on the team. When I'd present my data, she'd wave it away. "Numbers can be manipulated. We all know the real work happens in sales." She'd end with her signature move, a pat on my shoulder that looked supportive but felt like a brand. "Don't worry, not everyone can be a star performer." Information was her currency, and she spent it carefully. What she didn't know was that I'd been documenting her too. Every falsified report to investors, every diverted payment to her consulting company in Delaware. The $1.7 million she'd skimmed over 2 years through fake vendor invoices. I never planned to use it. It was just insurance, until she gave me a reason. The Morrison Industries deal, no relation to Rebecca, despite the name, was supposed to save us $2.3 million for supply chain software. I spent 6 months building it. The demo was scheduled for Thursday afternoon. Wednesday night, Rebecca called me into her office. "Tom, I need you to add something to the Morrison demo, a few extra features to really wow them." She handed me specifications that were impossible real-time AI predictions, blockchain integration, augmented reality overlays. Buzzword soup that would take months to build, not hours. "Rebecca, this isn't possible by tomorrow." "Then make it look possible. Add some mock screens, fake the back-end responses. We'll build it after we get the contract." I should have walked out. But Emma's school tuition was due, and my lawyer needed another retainer payment. So I did something worse. I agreed, but I documented everything. Recorded our conversation on my phone, screenshot her emails, saved the impossible specifications with her digital signature. Then I built exactly what she asked for, a beautiful lie that would work perfectly in the demo and catastrophically in production. Thursday, 3:47 p.m. The Morrison demo crashed. Not during my presentation, during Rebecca's. Right when she was taking credit for the architecture, claiming she'd personally overseen every line of code. The failure was spectacular. Database corruption, cascading errors, their test data gone. It looked like fraud, because it was. The Morrison team was recording everything. Their technical lead, James, had mentioned it casually weeks before. In the emergency meeting that followed, Rebecca didn't just throw me under the bus, she buried me under it. The architecture was fundamentally flawed from the start, she announced, pulling up slides I'd never seen before. Slides with my name, my photo, fabricated error logs showing months of mistakes I'd never made. She walked around the conference table as she spoke, stopping behind my chair. "I tried to mentor him," she said, her voice dripping with false concern. "Gave him chances others wouldn't have." Her hand landed on my shoulder. "I even recommended him for this project against my better judgment, because he begged for the opportunity, said he needed it for his personal situation." The way she said personal situation made my custody battle sound sordid. Tom's going through a difficult divorce, you see. Lost custody of his daughter. Financial problems. Every word was calculated to paint me as a charity case. A pathetic failure she'd tried to save. "We've lost Morrison. Our reputation is destroyed. Tom, we need your badge and laptop. Security is waiting outside." I stood up slowly, made eye contact with everyone, then looked directly at Rebecca. "Interesting how the demo failed during your presentation, not mine." Her smile faltered for a microsecond, then returned, sharper. "Security will escort you out. The next 3 weeks were hell. My ex-wife's lawyer called within days. Heard about your job situation. We'll need to revisit the support agreement." Translation: she wanted full custody. The tech community in Raleigh is small. Word spread fast. Tom Miller, the guy who tanked the Morrison deal. No one would return my calls. I finally got a call back for an interview. A junior position at a fintech startup I wouldn't have considered 2 months ago. The CTO was a decade younger than me. He looked at my resume, then at me. A flicker of recognition in his eyes. "Paragon, huh?" he said, tapping the paper. "Heard things got pretty messy over there." I tried to explain, to talk about my architecture, my successes, but the story was already written. His questions became condescending, a test to see if I was as incompetent as the rumors suggested. "Explain the OSI model to me," he said. "The kind of question you ask an intern." I answered it perfectly. "What's the difference between TCP and UDP?" Answered that too. My teeth clenched. He leaned back, a smug look on his face. "You know your stuff, I'll give you that," he said. "But we're a fast-moving team. We can't afford the kind of drama that follows some people." The dismissal was clear. I walked out into the afternoon sun, the polite rejection email already hitting my phone before I'd even reached the parking lot. The humiliation was a physical thing, a cold weight in my gut. It wasn't just my career that was dead. My reputation was a ghost. And Rebecca had made sure everyone in town knew it was haunting me. Every door was closed. Every bridge burned. My phone buzzed again. It was a reminder from my lawyer. Another $5,000 retainer payment was due next week. Money I didn't have. Money I had no way of getting. I sat in my car in that parking lot for an hour, just staring at the steering wheel. For the first time, I felt the cold, sharp edge of true desperation. It was the feeling of being trapped, of having nowhere left to turn. It was in that moment that I knew I couldn't just look for a new job. I had to burn down the world that had burned me. There was no other way out. The fight wasn't just about my reputation anymore. It was about survival. The lowest point came when I ran into Rebecca at the grocery store. Emma was with me for our weekend visit. Rebecca approached us, her voice loud enough for other shoppers to hear. "Tom, have you found work yet?" Before I could answer, she crouched down to Emma's level. "You must be Emma. Your daddy used to work for me. He's going through a tough time right now." She stood, sighing theatrically. "Maybe consider a different field. Sometimes a fresh start is best after such a public failure." She walked away, leaving me standing there with my 7-year-old daughter asking, "Daddy, what did she mean? What failure?" That night, I sat in my apartment with my laptop and my other phone. I had two choices: disappear into that shadow economy permanently, or fight back with the only weapons I had. I chose to fight, but not alone. I wasn't the only one digging into Rebecca's past. While searching through old LinkedIn posts, I kept seeing the same comments, someone asking pointed questions about financial discrepancies at Rebecca's previous companies. The username led me to Anna Roberts, a forensic accountant. I reached out through an encrypted channel. "I think we have a common interest in Rebecca Morrison." Her response came within hours. "Truck Stop Diner, Route 40, tomorrow at 2. Anna was mid-30s, exhausted eyes, and the kind of calm that suggested she'd seen worse. She'd been tracking Rebecca for 2 years. "You're not the first person she's destroyed," Anna said, sliding a folder across the table. "She did the same thing at her last 2 companies. Why do you care?" "Because she destroyed my brother. Same playbook, different company. He killed himself 6 months later." The folder contained patterns, not proof. Financial irregularities that suggested fraud, but needed insider knowledge to confirm. "I've been gathering evidence for months," she said, "but I need someone who knows their systems." "What do you want from me?" "Access. You built their systems. You know their vulnerabilities. You want me to break the law. I want you to level the playing field." I thought about the legal risks: computer fraud charges, federal prison, losing Emma forever. Even if I could get in, we'd be the ones going to jail, not her. Anna leaned back. "What if I told you there's a way to do this legally?" Morrison Industries recorded that entire demo. Their legal team is very interested in what happened. They just need someone to explain the technical evidence they already have. Morrison Industries' lawyers were sharks who smelled blood. When James, their technical lead, shared his recording of Rebecca admitting the demo was faked, they went nuclear. The lawsuit threat forced Paragon to allow a full security audit, and Morrison specifically requested me as their technical consultant. After all, I'd built the systems. The beautiful irony? During the audit, I was legally required to access everything. Every database, every backup, every archived email. Anna worked with Morrison's forensic team, discovering patterns in the financial data. We didn't plant evidence we didn't need to. We just made visible what was hidden. The audit revealed deleted emails Rebecca thought were gone forever. She hadn't realized our backup system kept shadow copies for 6 months, a feature I'd implemented but never documented. Contracts she'd modified still had their version histories. Transaction records showing money flowing to Delaware, then to the Caymans. Rebecca had been smart. She'd converted the stolen funds to Bitcoin, then to Monero, a privacy coin designed to be untraceable. But she'd made one crucial mistake. She'd used the same exchange account for the Monero conversion that she'd previously used for personal Bitcoin trading under her real name. While we couldn't trace the Monero transactions themselves, we could prove that $1.7 million entered her exchange account as Bitcoin, and the exact same amount was converted to Monero minutes later. The timing matched Paragon's missing funds perfectly. We packaged everything into a formal audit report. Morrison's legal team filed it with the court. The venture capital firm that funded Paragon received a copy. A financial journalist got an anonymous tip about the public court filings. We also made sure Rebecca knew what was coming. Morrison's lawyers sent her a personal notice as a courtesy. She was named as the primary defendant in their fraud suit. The note attached was mine. Your turn under the bus. What Anna and I didn't fully appreciate was that we hadn't just lit a fuse. We had thrown a match into a warehouse full of dynamite. The venture capital firm, already nervous about Paragon's burn rate and a string of broken promises, had been quietly looking for an exit clause. The financial journalist we tipped wasn't starting from scratch. He'd been investigating a network of startup fraud for months, and Rebecca's name had come up before. We thought we were starting a fire. In reality, we were just giving everyone who already wanted to run for the exits the perfect excuse to trample each other on the way out. Monday morning, Rebecca's photo was on TechCrunch. Raleigh startup executive accused of million-dollar fraud. Tuesday, federal agents raided Paragon's offices. Wednesday, Rebecca was arrested at the airport trying to board a flight to Costa Rica. Thursday, Michael Davis held a press conference claiming he'd been deceived. Friday, Paragon declared bankruptcy. The Morrison Industries deal? They hired me as an independent contractor to build what they actually needed, paid up front. They knew I'd been scapegoated. 6 months later, I'm working for myself. Small contracts, steady income, boring work that pays the bills and keeps Emma in private school. Rebecca's awaiting trial. Frozen assets, public defender, looking at 15 years minimum. Michael Davis somehow walked away clean. He's already founded another startup. But the tech world is smaller than he thinks. Before Anna disappeared, she sent me one last encrypted file labeled Davis_insurance_policy.zip. It seems Rebecca wasn't the only one who kept detailed records on her partners. The file's contents are now sitting in the inbox of the same venture capital firm Davis is currently pitching, sent from an anonymous email address just this morning. His fresh start might not be so fresh after all. Anna disappeared after the arrests. Said her brother could rest now, left me with encrypted drives containing evidence of 17 other executives doing the same thing at different companies. For when you're ready, she said. I'm not ready, may never be. The Morrison lawyers made it clear I'd walked a razor's edge. We're not interested in pursuing that angle, their lead counsel told me. But others might be. Stay clean, Mr. Miller. Because here's what they don't tell you about revenge. It doesn't fix anything. Emma still asks why I can't afford the things her stepfather buys her. My reputation is complicated. Now the whistleblower who might be a hero or might be toxic. But I learned something valuable. Everyone leaves digital footprints. Everyone has secrets in their servers. Everyone thinks they're smarter than the systems they use. And sometimes, the invisible guy in the corner is keeping notes. Rebecca sent me a letter from federal detention. One line, "You destroyed everything." I wrote back. Also one line, "You taught me how." She was right about one thing. Perception is reality. She perceived me as weak, disposable, someone who'd take the fall quietly. That perception became her reality when federal agents knocked on her door. I still make coffee at 6:15 a.m., still instant, still terrible. But now I drink it while reading my daughter's texts about her school day, planning our weekend together, building something real instead of managing someone else's lies. The other phone sits in a drawer, powered off. That world is still there, still profitable, still tempting. But Emma needs a father, not a ghost in the machine. Some days I think about Anna's encrypted drives, about the 17 other executives stealing millions while employees take the fall. But then I remember what Anna's brother couldn't live with, not the false accusation, but the isolation that comes from seeing how dark the corporate world really is. So I code, I build, I raise my daughter, I let the darkness exist without me. Because the real revenge isn't destroying those who wronged you. It's surviving them. It's building something they can't touch. Rebecca's in prison. I'm at Emma's recital. I won. Even if victory tastes like ash and instant coffee, bitter and necessary, every morning at 6:15.